The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com, 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Post-game pod coming at you after the Celtics go into the Cleveland Cavaliers home building and emerge with a 112-105 win thanks to this guy. If you're listening on the audio version, I'm holding up the gigantic head Derrick White t-shirt that I've been parading around all night because Derrick White goes for 14 of his 20 points, I believe it was, in the fourth quarter. A return of fourth quarter Derrick. Derrick's been pulling himself from that little mid-season funk that lasted probably longer than he would have liked over the last 5-6 games. And it culminates here tonight with just hitting a barrage of shots, 8 straight points at one point. It's bad phrasing. Including, I think they had pulled within 6 again, and he hit a little pull-up mid-range jumper, then knocked down 2 threes, was searching those pockets. Yet again, if you're listening on the audio version, you don't see me checking my pockets for all these threes. I don't think it is a coincidence that as the Celtics pull themselves from their own funk, that it's coincides with Derrick doing the same. We had the number as part of one of our pregame shows a while ago. When Derrick is a positive and plus minus, the Boston Celtics are like a 900 winning percentage, or north of a 900 winning percentage. And so Derrick tonight, amazingly, is a minus 11. I can't believe that. I should have checked that before I got into my rant. But it shows that even on nights where Derrick doesn't have it fully going, in terms of team production. And the starters, for whatever reason, they had the good first quarter, and then they sort of let the Cavs back into this. Neither team could hit anything in the first 6 minutes of this game. And then the Celtics sort of settled in and were able to take control. It probably should have been easier. I suspect Derrick's plus-minus would have been in the positive if Kristaps Porzingis had hit half the shots he normally does. It's funny because Kristaps still ended up with 19 points, but on 7 of 20 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. KP had probably 4 good looks beyond the arc in the first quarter. Multiple shots around the basket and just could not get his touch. Look, Cleveland's bigs will do that to you at times. But the Celtics kind of shook it off, hung in there. They only allowed 15 first quarter points to this Cavs team, opened up a 13-point lead in that frame, stretched it out a little bit. Again, you knew the Cavs were going to make a run. Celtics were ready for it. It is Derrick that's able to help stiff arm. The bench was great in this game. Once I finish giving Derrick his flowers, we should turn our attention to the bench. But I just think you can tell Derrick swatted a Donovan Mitchell layup attempt in the first quarter. He had a couple steals. Just looks so much more comfortable out there. And I go back to it. I don't know. He would never fully admit to whether it was health, or if it was just like a funk, or if it's the confluence of all the game he's played from the championship season to the last minute call up to Team USA to the Celtics grind in the first half of the year. He just clearly wasn't himself. And last 5-6 games, numbers look a lot more like what we come to expect from Derrick White. And I just think it's the ultimate game changer where we know how good the Jays are. How good KP has been in this stretch. But KP might have an off night, even like tonight, or JB might be in foul trouble, or JT might just not have it going as he has throughout this stretch. And there's Derrick to keep you afloat, especially in the big moments. Like I just feel like I said it a million times 2-3 seasons ago, or right after he got acquired. And the first full season he was here, he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter. That Utah game where Grant Williams tried to make the layup late. It was flabbergasting that he wasn't playing more. It was clear like how much of a steadying presence he was. And especially on a night like this, you don't win this game without Derrick and how good he was. Everybody had their little part in it. But man, that shot making in the fourth quarter was pivotal in a game where both sides were uncharacteristically rough around the edges. The Celtics defense did play a part in that. They made things difficult for the Cavs. And considering like the Cavs have led the NBA in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, offensive rating, all the major categories, and the Celtics held them to 39.6% shooting overall, 28% beyond the 3-point arc. Just a little reminder from the Celtics of that the East still goes through them, and I think we were talking on BST tonight about was the win the other night against the 76ers coming back from 26 down. Did that maybe that helped the Celtics turn a corner? And I'd roll it back game before and Tatum hitting the game winner, and then you add the comeback, and I think it just all adds up where you sort of remember what made you special last year. Now, do I think the Celtics are going to just all of a sudden harness it again? I still think we might see some variable intensity from this team. I get it; it's tough, and maybe I'm coming to grips with it more now that we've seen that they can ratchet it up when they have to, and it gives you confidence that if they were to see a team like the Cavaliers in the playoffs, that they'd be able to bring it. But undeniably, I hope they tapped into something where there's less fluctuation. The race for the top seed in the Eastern Conference is now a little bit more feasible. Going into the night 5.5 down, but with 2 head-to-heads, you still have to make up 4 games in the loss column, even if you win both of the head-to-head matchups in February. Not easy when you start thinking about only probably 28, 30 games otherwise in the calendar. And the Cavs, they've just been so consistent. They're on a 67 win pace before this game. That'll come down a little bit. Celtics were on 57, 58 win pace. They've got to clean up some of the up and down. Look, the Cavs are slightly better than what their net rating has said based on output, which is kind of crazy because they've been, it's just so good overall. And the Celtics are probably left a couple wins out there. I mean, undeniably, probably even more than 2 if you think about some of the late games against the Hawks and the Rockets and the Clippers and all that. So, they just it's going to be interesting. I wonder if the Celtics, if they can take all this momentum and get to the All-Star break on some sort of a winning streak, I wonder if it will make that second half push a little bit more interesting. Whether they'd want to expend all that energy it might take to get to the 1 seed, because at the end of the day, it might just come down to they're playing better on the road, 20-6 now, than they are at home. And so maybe it's better for them to go on the road in round 3. Maybe, some weird way. I'll put it this way: they won't be overwhelmed if they have to go on the road against a team like Cleveland, but they can worry about that more in the second half of the year. Can't get out of here without putting the spotlight on the bench. All those guys ended up big numbers in the plus-minus category. You got Al Horford at plus 19, Peyton Pritchard at plus 19, Sam Hauser plus 18, Luke Cornett at plus 10. Al Horford, probably his best game in about 3 months. First double-double in 3 months. Knocked down some threes early. Got it. Just had it going defensively. Wanted the challenge of defending Garland. This was again, if I'm going to take away something from this game, it's that Al might be a little bit up and down, and that's to be expected at 38. But when it matters, he's going to be ready for the moment. And so, like the Celtics again, if it just seems like when the antenna's a little bit more up, you get the best out of this group. And then when everybody's playing up a little bit, and again, this wasn't even their most crisp game of the year. If there's even another level, 2 levels they can go up when it matters most, you feel pretty good about this team's potential when it gets down to a 7-game series. It might drive me nuts on a night-to-night basis, but a lot of encouraging signs in this stretch, a lot of encouraging signs in this game. Let's just hope they can keep the good vibes going straight into the All-Star break and maybe make it a little bit easier for Celtics fans to enjoy the rest that waits. There's still a lot to get to. There's a trade deadline on Thursday. There's a game against the Mavericks, the new look Mavericks. There's the Knicks on Saturday night. There's the Heat on Monday. There's a visit from Wemby. We'll get into some of that in a little bit. First, here's more from our post-game show.
The award-winning 24 Auto Group is the easy choice for your next car, truck, or SUV. 11 locations and over 2,000 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock.
Shop the brands you know and love, backed by savings and service you can count on. Plus, buy 3 and get 1 free for all tire purchases, with 11 convenient locations across the South Shore of Massachusetts.
24 has the knack to save you more. Visit us in store or online at 24autogroup.com.
Always love as we welcome Mike Holley and Chris Forsberg and KB here in Celtics PostGame Plus. When you see Derrick White have himself a night, find his rhythm, find his flow, and Joe Mazzulla, Mike, said it after the game. When Derrick White plays to that level, we're just a different team.
Yeah, they were able to find it. It was like the beginning of the game. The Celtics defensively were on point, but kept trying to find some rhythm. And the beauty of this Celtics team is when you're trying to find yourself, you keep going down. Okay, option A, Jason Tatum. Option B, Jaylen Brown's got it going, but they keep getting them on some ticky-tack fouls. Option C, option D, like Kristaps Porzingis misses his first 7 or 8 shots. And then you get down to Derrick White, and when you find it, like, that's what it is with the Celtics. Most teams don't have that many options. You can't go to that level and get this type of production on 85-90% of NBA teams, including, let me just be real. Can we be real? Can we stop pretending? Including the Cavaliers. Cavaliers have versatility and depth. They don't have that type of depth where they can go down to their 4th or 5th option, and it's somebody who can give you impact offensively and defensively like Derrick White did tonight. So, yeah, of course they're a different team because most teams don't have all of this in their toolbox.
Max Strus can give you great hair, but other than that, you're right. Like, Derrick White is just such a luxury to be able to, like, in the biggest moments. I felt like every time the Cavs started to make a charge, someone had an answer, and whether it was like Peyton Pritchard hitting a big shot or Derrick White or Al Horford getting a corner 3, but Derrick in the 4th quarter was just fantastic. And I go back to it, it's jarring that probably 2 weeks ago they actually pulled him early in the 4th quarter because he just didn't have it. He was getting sloppy with the basketball. You can see he was fighting himself. But now, as he gets kind of emerges from it, no surprise that as the Celtics start pulling themselves from their funk, Derrick White has done the same. And when you look at those numbers, it differentiates. How can you keep up when Jason and Jaylen are doing what they're doing, but have the faith that Derrick White can carry them to the finish line? I'll go back to it. This is what the Cavs are going to see when they sleep tonight. This is all Derrick White's face.
They showed him with the hair.
Turn it.
Yep. But yes, when you see the starters, by the way, they're all in double figures except for Drew Holiday, but then you have the bench, 29 points from the bench. And Al Horford, it's just nice to see. And when the Celtics are able to ride now a 4-game win streak, but to have their bench step up in this one. And it also, Mike, what does this say about this team when they're going up against the number 1 team right now in the NBA playing how well they did here tonight? It's no simple, sorry, whatever team. Here we go. I'm about to get killed.
Let me
go
tell you
ahead,
something.
optimistic Kayla.
They're going against the team with the best record in the NBA.
And they're healthy.
They're going against the team with the best record. They're not necessarily going against the best team in the NBA. And this is why I said,
why?
We coaches make us do this. But we're not coaches. We're here on Celtics PostGame Plus, so we get to say it the way we want to. Coaches always pretend that these games in February don't really matter. It's all the cliches, right? Mm-hmm. It's a marathon, it's a sprint, all this stuff. The fact is, the Cavaliers wanted to make a statement tonight, and the Celtics did too. It's that unspoken thing. Nobody said it out loud. We all knew this was a different kind of game tonight. And so this is part of the reason the Cavaliers performed like this. It's because of what the Celtics did to them. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason they performed like this is because of the pressure. It's fine to, and the Celtics did it last year, it's fine to just kind of cruise through the regular season without much resistance or much pressure until people start asking for it in critical times. And then they find out who you really are. I think the Cavaliers are an excellent team. They still have a lot to prove when it comes to, okay, show me what you got right now. It matters. Stakes are high. So there have been 2 of these games this year between the Cavaliers and Celtics. First game, their undefeated season was on the line at the Garden. Mm-hmm. They didn't step up. They went down by 20 in that game, too, before fighting back. This game, you could put the Celtics away. Forsberg pretty much put them away in pregame live for the number one seed. For the number one seed. But you could put them away with one more win over them. They push them back to 6.5 back in February. That's a lot to overcome. And they went down 20 again and then fought back and came up short. So this is intel. This is intel that will come up in the postseason.
By the way, they lost, 4 when they did lose to the Cavs. They lost by 4, and they didn't even have Brown and White, really, in that game. And I mean, yes, you can argue, okay.
And they were up big in that game, too.
No Okoro, right, and no Wade. But I have to go to the next thing. I did want to ask.
Wow.
All right, I'm told I can ask.
Wow.
So what are the concerns? Are there concerns when it comes to this team? Yeah, because you take down, we say, okay, this is the best team, or best team in the NBA, the Cavs, and then Mike says, they're not really the best team. So if the Celtics are able to do what they did tonight against a Cavaliers team where you have Donovan Mitchell scoring 30-plus points, what are the concerns here with this?
So, I mean, the concerns are they've been super inconsistent. They have lost their focus at times, stuff they didn't always do last year, and they need to lock in a little bit more. But I get your point, right? Like, what we have seen is in the bigger moments against the better opponents, they tend to be able to find that focus a little bit. So you can sell me that when we get to the postseason, they're going to bring it every single night. The rest will be there. They won't have like the little things that might gnaw at them during the course of the regular season. There's still another level. Like there's still just a little bit they can go up. But right now, even let's say 85% is enough on a game like this.
Okay, so keep it consistent. That's what they're looking for when it comes.
They still got to be a little bit better.
I just thought we had really good ball pressure. I thought they missed some shots. A 15-point quarter isn't normal for them, but I thought we did a good job just taking away some of the margins, some of the easy baskets that they're able to create because of the type of players that they have and the offense that they run. So we were able to take those away for some of the game, and I thought our guys defended well.
First quarter, I think you held them at 15. I know you mentioned some missed shots there, but creating the live ball turnovers and some of the defensive activity, what do you feel like you guys did well there?
Yeah, I mean, again, just kind of took away some of the easy stuff that they get. They're a great team. They run a good offense, and we were able to take some of that stuff away. Again, I think they missed some of that, but I just thought kind of our attention to detail on, the game plan was big time by the guys.
Sunday, you drove by 26, you came back because you're chasing. What's the challenge of holding the lead throughout the entire? They never caught you, but they kept chasing. What's that challenge of holding the lead for 3.5 quarters?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really just focus on the process of the margins. I think that's where it leads, slip and you create leads is through the margins, transition and ones. We give up a few of those things, transition and ones, offensive rebound threes, live ball turnovers, just the margins, the things that go into winning. You just have to work to control those throughout the game.
How important were your reserves?
Yeah, I mean, they were great. I mean, it's just Al Payton, Luke, and Sam were tremendous. Did I miss anybody? No. But just on both ends of the floor, their ability to their ball pressure, their offensive rebounding, their execution. To me, there's examples throughout a season when the team shows itself, and I feel like the team has shown itself in times, and the guys need each other. So it's just something that we got to continue to build off of.
One of the better teams at preventing three-point attempts. Is there something you look at going into this matchup in terms of like, all right, we need to do this to still be able to create 30s? Because you guys have done it in all the matchups.
We just need to create the best shot possible. I mean, I think we took more 2s than 3s this game. And so it's just about, finding the 2-on-1s and creating the best shot that we possibly can versus the different coverages that, they present.
What does it do for you guys when Derrick has that kind of confidence offensively?
Yeah, everything. When he plays that way, we're a completely different team. So it's important that he keeps that, because of his ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor. And, that's the Derrick that is that's who he is, the late game shot making, the ability to make plays. That's who he is for us, and we got to continue to fight to make sure he keeps that belief and confidence.
What do you like about the plays in the fourth quarter there where they cut the floor, Galen's in foul trouble, just the ability to...
I thought even with some of the foul trouble, I thought he did a good job in the first half at keeping us, involved with his execution and some of his defense. And, he took on the challenge of Mitchell throughout the game. And then when he kind of went into foul trouble, he just kind of executed really well. I mean, I think, like I talked about, between Derrick and JT's pick and roll combination, between KP versus the switch, it was a team game where you look at it and it's an understanding of how we can impact each other positively.
You talked a lot about how important it is to push the shot.
All right, so there you go. Joe Mazzulla's thoughts is, again, the Celtics getting the win. And obviously being asked about keeping the Cavs to just 105 points in this one, Eddie. And also talk about the defense. They held the Cavs to under 40% shooting from the field, actually tied for their season worst for Cleveland. I know the defense connects to the offense. That's what you always say. What did you see defensively from the Celtics in this one and their ability to limit Cleveland in their looks?
I thought we were just active. The activity was on a different level. I mean, we had 6 blocks and 10 steals. That says it right there. That's all you need to know. You don't get 6 blocks and 10 steals in a game without being active. And I thought that we were active. It was multiple actions, multiple efforts, not 1, not 2, not 3. They were doing everything they had to do. If somebody got beat, the teammate had his back. And so I just felt like they came out. It was one of them games. These are one of those games. I said that from the beginning. These are those games that you come into and you're like, hey, I know you might have the better record, but let me let y'all know who we really are. And I felt like that's what the team was on tonight, and they showed it throughout the game. Maybe a little lapse here and there, but for the most part, consistently showed that they were trying to send a message.
Yeah, we've been on them a lot about physicality and not always matching what the opponent brings out there. But I thought tonight, from the get-go, like Porzingis around the rim really was a deterrent early, really kind of frustrated those guys near the basket and Jared Allen. So that set a little bit of a tone, and then the guards were aggressive. And look, sometimes it resulted in fouls or whatever, but it did also cause a whole bunch of turnovers. And when the Celtics cause turnovers and they get out in transition, you saw that one where Peyton ripped the ball at half court and knew to throw it ahead to Jason Tatum and create easy opportunities. Now your offense isn't stressing as much. It all just goes together. And I really love that they knew going into this, the way that Cleveland plays and the physicality that Cleveland typically brings has sometimes put them on their heels. And they hit first in this one, and that was a big reason for them able to get to the finish line even when Cleveland made a couple charges.
No, they had a hot start to the season. Some people, I think, thought it was a little bit lucky, but no, they're the real deal, and they're a really good team, and tonight was a good challenge for us.
There have been a lot of games this season where you guys have struggled to shoot well, and then that's hurt the defense, but it felt like tonight, even though you guys weren't shooting a high percentage, you were still able to build a lead. What do you think was kind of the key to that?
Probably our defense was good. They were shooting even lower percentage than us, I think. So, especially early on. We had really good looks, we just weren't making them. And then that game was not, a super efficient game because of the defense on both sides. We did just enough to get the win.
How did you not let that affect your defense and the intensity on that end?
Yeah, these kind of games, it's almost like a playoff atmosphere, right? So, of course, it doesn't give you the same boost of energy if you hit a shot than if you miss a shot than when you make a shot. But we had to, it was a battle on both ends, and their defense was there, and we had to bring ours, and it was a battle. It was a physical battle, and as I said, we had just enough, to edge them.
Is this a reminder of what you guys are capable of?
No, I think we know we're capable of this. I think we know, that on any night we can beat anybody, but also if we're not, if we don't bring our, our game. That we need, then we can lose also, or we can have teams hang around and maybe steal one from us. So, of course, for us it's easier to show up to these kind of games and play hard and all this, but we're working on having that intensity every night, and sometimes just running through teams and not letting them hang around.
Can you see the confidence level of Derrick in a stretch like that fourth quarter, and what does it do for you guys when it's out there?
Yeah, I think he's one of the most clutch players on our team, honestly. I feel like he always hits big shots. Not tonight, but usually he has some deep corner ones, and he's just he's a rhythm player, and once he gets in that kind of rhythm and starts hitting those pocket threes and making plays in this, he's very, very special. And tonight again was a good reminder and good reminder of what he's capable of.
The other games where you've been lackadaisical, not you, the team, like in Philly, and that great first half. It seemed like tonight there was second, third efforts. You guys didn't play necessarily well at all times, but played hard.
Yeah.
What's that? How do you kind of put that together? I mean, it just seemed like the effort was there the whole time.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's to not fool ourselves. It's honestly just a bigger game, we believe that we have the tools necessary to win these kind of games. It's a battle. It's a battle to try to bring it every night, and against maybe some lower level teams, and they're on some random night. It's a long season, so it's normal. We're not at this maybe intensity every night, but bigger games we've showed up, and I think we looked pretty good today. Even though, as you said, we didn't have the best rhythm and the best shot making today, we still look pretty good.
You said a couple of times recently, like, you think the good play is coming. You think you guys are close. 4 straight wins now for the first time since November. Where do you think you are in that process of kind of getting where you want to be?
Yeah, I think it's now it's a tough stretch, honestly. I'm very happy that we have 4 wins in a row now, because it's a tough stretch. Right before the All-Star break, everybody's kind of, not us, I'm saying around the league, this, it's always kind of like, okay, let's get to the, but it's important for us to finish strong, go into the All-Star break, get some rest, and then have that really good home stretch of the regular season to peak at the right moment. So I like where we're headed. We just need to finish strong this small, 5 games left.
Dallas is next. What was your reaction to the trade, and then has that changed that team?
No, of course, just like everybody else, absolutely mind blown, unexpected. I didn't even have my phone, so I found out on the street. So it was, for me, it was even weirder. So, but yeah, I guess like people have said, nobody's the last person you expect to get traded is Luka Doncic, So for him to get traded, it's a big deal, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But yeah, it's definitely a shocking news for everybody.
All right, up next, Celtics back home. Place they've struggled, but it's a it's a little weird to call it an NBA Finals rematch given the different look of the team on the other side. But they host the Dallas Mavericks, the new look Dallas Mavericks, on Thursday night. Anthony Davis, Max Christie will be on this new team. Luka Doncic will not, and we'll see if AD is ready to go yet. He was nursing an injury before the trade. I think this is the first game that it would technically be potentially available for, but we'll see if he's healthy enough to be out there. Regardless, I always say this, especially after a big trade, regardless if you send out the best player in a trade that makes no sense, there is still a little bit of a honeymoon period. And look, the Mavs just have now made 2 trades. Quentin Grimes goes out. They bring back Kayla Martin as part of their little mid-season reshuffle here. I may not be as bullish as some that they're still legitimate contenders in the West. I think Kyrie has been very good this year. We'll see how he pairs with AD. We'll see how this new look group performs. Still an uphill battle for anyone to catch OKC and Denver, and I think those 2 teams have really distinguished themselves. And I would throw the Rockets in that mix as well, but the Rockets might be, that 1 year away type thing where they got to go through the playoffs and really figure out where they're at. But so it's an uphill battle for anyone in the West, regardless if you have Luka Doncic, like the Lakers do now, or if you don't. One interesting thing, I've right before I dove into tape this podcast, I was looking at some quotes coming out of Philly where the Mavericks had played tonight, and Kyrie was talking, and it seemed pretty eloquently about having the decision to move on from Luka, probably hearing the better than the GM did, and but he did reveal, he sort of said, and I'm guessing Kyrie's dates might be off, but maybe not. He said that in 2018 he had maybe daydreamed a little bit about the Celtics adding Anthony Davis. But the kind of the blockbuster in there was that he also thought that maybe Kevin Durant would be part of that, and that they wanted to keep Jason Tatum. I don't know how they could have done all that. Trading out, I suspect, Al Horford and Jaylen Brown, and I don't know. We know for sure that there was talk about Danny Ainge wanting to bring AD in, and that was a big buzz in that 18-19 area. Kyrie could also be covering his tracks a little bit when you think about all the discussion and when he was at the All-Star game and talking to Durant in the hallway and how much, holding up the 2 max slots thing, and everyone just assumed they were talking about Brooklyn. Maybe he's trying to put a spin on it that it was more like he was talking about Boston, which makes it look less bad if he walked away in the aftermath. But whatever the case may be, I will say it again as I did after we were digesting the trade to begin with. Worked out pretty well for the Celtics to hold on to Jaylen Brown, to hold on to Jason Tatum. There were some bumps in the path. They had to find their way, but the Celtics were set up really well, not only having already won a championship, but on a night like this, you feel pretty good about their chances to make a run at another one. Then we'll see what happens this summer, but even if there is a roster overhaul, good chance Jason Tatum's going to be here. Hopefully Jaylen Brown will be as well, and we'll see how much of this core new ownership yearns to keep in place. But hey, if you win 2 and you have the ability to keep kind of into this core intact, I think there's gives the new owner a good reason to spend and consider the hefty amount of money that would take to do that, to continue to foster this Jays era, which has been quite enjoyable, especially on nights where they win and bring the energy and play like they did. All right, we'll be back with you. I'm going to be over at the Garden on Thursday night. Me and Kayla are heading over there to do some of our shows from over there. We'll do Celtics post up that night if you all want to stay up late and hang out. So go subscribe. If you go down on Causeway Street, my guy Ricky, I don't know if he's got these for sale out there, but you'll see him up in the crowd. He's got a better mustache than I do. Although I will say, mustache is now 4-0 since I jokingly started growing it. And now I can't shave it. So apologies to my wife and children. Might have to stick around for a bit. Celtics keep winning. There's no choice. Maybe if they hit a bump in the road, I might just keep it. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.